Good morning everyone and welcome to Short Walks with Shay. Today we start our walk off in Salisbury Fields. Quite a historic part of Dorchester town, and but I'll leave that for another video. And we'll be leaving and making our way this way towards the main town with some history along the way. I've had quite an early start this morning. It's not even 8 o'clock yet, so yeah, should be quite a fresh, quiet morning for me today. So as we come out of Salisbury Fields, we come up here and you can see on these signs here that we were just in Salisbury Fields. To our left there, if we were to go down that way, it would take us to Fordington Green, and on the right there is the walks, and the walks is what we're going to be doing today. Now, interesting fact for you, you see this big pole here. Now some people think it used to be a lamp post, but actually it's a ventilation tube from the old Victorian drainage system that we have throughout the town here. It used to be painted green. It's actually quite detailed at the top. I'll see if I can zoom in for you. There you go. See all the detail there. You can see the old green paint on it as well there. But yes, there's a few of them around Dorchester. Some of them have been cut down very short, and some of them have been left tall, like that one. So if we cross the road, we come to what's commonly known as the three statues. Now there's some information on a board over there, but I'll just let you have a little look first. Morning.
They've got a complete exhibition of hers at the museum.
Are they?
Yeah,
Ah.
Second World War sort of survivor.
Thank you very much. There you go, some local information. We will check the board out, but I've just been told that at the local museum here in Dorchester, which is the Dorset County Museum, they'll be doing an exhibition very soon. So if we come over to the board here, and you'll be able to see the information. So we were looking at the Dorset Martyrs. There you have all the names. So, this is Gallows Hill, Dorchester's execution site in the 16th century and 17th centuries until it was moved to Mawbury Rings around 1703. I'll take you to Mawbury Rings later on in this walk. Condemned people were brought here from prison below Ison Way, known as Gallows Lane. There you go. Hundreds of people died here, among the Chiliac martyrs who died defending their Catholic faith during the reign of the Protestant Queen Elizabeth, which was Queen Elizabeth I, which was 1558 to 1603. Catholics were forced to worship in secret for fear of prosecution. The stronghold of Catholicism in Dorset was at Chiliac, in the castle belonging to Arundel family. In 1591, the family's chaplain was John Cornelius, born in Bodmin, who was taken to Arundel household and educated by the family, becoming a priest. In 1594, he was arrested along with his servants Patrick Salmon and John Carey. Where Thomas Bosgrave was a relation of the Arundels, offered the bare-headed Cornelius his own hat, he too was arrested. Cornelius was taken to London. Under torture, he refused to name any of his converts. He was returned to Dorchester, where all 4 men were tried, found guilty and condemned to be hanged, drawn and quartered. On the 4th of July 1594 they were executed in this place All 4 men made declarations of faith before their deaths. The last martyr hanged here was Father Hugh Green. Despite such martyrdoms, worship continued in Chiddock. After the castle was destroyed in 1645 during the Civil War, Catholics met in a nearby barn, later converted into a chapel, which is now the Church of Our Lady, Queen of Martyrs and St Ignatius. All that now remains of the castle is a moated mound on a hill outside the village, crowned by a cross. These sculptures, as you can see here, I'll zoom back in for you on them. These sculptures were erected in 1986, and two of the three bronze figures, unidentified prisoners, resolutely confront the third, who, cowled and gowned, seems to represent the hangman or death. And that is what you are looking at there. The two unidentified prisoners and the hangman or death representative. In the winter, some people like to come and dress these guys up, actually, give them little hats and scarves and things, which is quite fun. But yeah, there was a little bit more information over on here, but just some information about the sculptor here, the lady who created these sculptures, and I'm assuming that'll be what they've got the exhibition on at the museum that we were mentioned about earlier by that chap. There you go. So Dame Elizabeth Frink, who was born in Suffolk. Yeah, so we'll make our way down the walks. Here they are. Got these great big trees lining either side, which I think is really quite cool. It's a lovely, lovely walk. The Roman walls. You are standing on the site of town walls of the Roman town Dernevaria, which is Dorchester, back in the day. Here the Romans built a chalk bank along the line of the trees you can see to your right. That's the trees there that we've just walked along. Outside this, they dug ditches which have since been built over. To your left was the Roman town. To our left, over there, was the Roman town. The Roman army invaded Britain in 43 AD, led by Vespasian, who later became emperor of Rome. The Second Legion Augusta headed was to west to defeat the Celtic Durotriges or Durotriges. Dumnoni. This is all very new words to me, so I apologise if I'm pronouncing them wrong. The Dumnoni tribes. One of the Durotriges' strongholds was the Maiden Castle Hill Fort, about 2 miles away, and we will be doing that walk at some point as well. Having established a military camp, the Romans then built the town of Dernevaria in around 70 AD. The earth bank and ditches were built later, forming defences as wide as 100 metres in total. The town's stone walls were added to top of the bank in about 300 AD, around the same time as the Roman townhouse was built, which we went and did in a different walk earlier on my channel. So go check that video out if you're interested in seeing the Roman townhouse. There is also evidence near here that there was another earlier wall in Dorchester, but we do not know how extensive that was. Good morning.
Good morning.
To find out more, visit the surviving section of the Roman Wall in West Walks and the Roman Townhouse in Colleton Park. I'll be showing you that wall also on this walk. It's right at the end of this walk that we'll be doing, just before I take you to the Mawbury Rings. Anyway, moving on, and we come up and round the corner here. Now if you're a skateboarder or similar, this bit's lovely. You can go all the way down from either side, and it's lovely smooth concrete. Now I could take you this way on the outside, but I'm going to take you through the gardens, I think. So we've got the tennis courts here. However, this used to be a bowls green, which you used to be able to come and sit on and relax, which was very pleasant, but not anymore. These tennis courts were the original ones. They've been here the whole time. Got a palm tree. Is that a palm tree? I might have got that wrong actually. But over across the side there, you can see a great big old clocklet. I think that's cool. Here's the nursery greenhouses for the plants they plant in the gardens. None in that one at the minute. And yeah, we come down around here. There's also free Wi-Fi within the gardens here, which I thought was quite unusual when I found out about that. I'm used to only getting Wi-Fi within a building, so yeah, but here's the clock in all its glory. It used to be blue and red, but they repainted it some years back to look more like this. This clock tower were presented to the Dorchester Borough by Charles Hansford, AD 1905. There you go. That brings us round here. There's some lovely little flower displays all around. And there's the old original bandstand that they've still got. There you go. Quite pretty. Which direction should we go? That way or that way? I reckon we go this way, as there's a fountain, and who doesn't like seeing a fountain? So as we come across the back end of the Borough Gardens here, there's a great big play park there. No one in it because it's too early, but if you do have little ones or grandchildren, then great big play park for them. And look at this. Zoom in for you guys. Isn't that cool? This fountain has been erected by Charles Hansford to the memory of Alderman George John Gregory, who was 5 times Mayor of Dorchester and who in his last year of office, AD 1895, purchased this land on behalf of the corporation by when it was converted into pleasure gardens for the health and recreation of the inhabitants. Now you know, there's something I never knew. Thank you very much to him. I've spent many a day relaxing in this place, in these gardens, so thank you. We wouldn't have them if it wasn't for him. But yeah, there's the end of the walks. That'll be the other side if we went straight up. All the way down. Sorry, interrupted myself there, but yeah, that bit of wall, the Roman wall, that still survives. That was mentioned earlier on the sign there. is just here. The Roman walls. See it? The same picture that we saw earlier, but probably most of the similar information. And there it is. In all its glory still. Let's get a side angle of that and really get an idea of the lumpy bumpiness of it. How cool is that? Hi everyone, so we've made it to Mawbury Rings, but first I just thought I'd show you that we've also got Dorchester Police Station just here, right next door to Mawbury Rings, and just opposite the police station there's Dorchester Skatepark. Which I thought was quite interesting as well. So they've only recently built this skate park. I say recently, probably about 10 years ago, something like that. Showing my age now slightly. But it's one of the best in the county. Or so they say anyway. So we come to Mawbury Rings. We make our way through the gate. That's what it would have looked like. Well, an artist's rendition of what it would have looked like anyway. Mawbury Rings is especially protected as a scheduled ancient monument. It is owned by the Duchy of Cornwall and leased to Dorchester Town Council, who are responsible for its maintenance. You can find out the history of the site inside. That's what we'll do then. Ah, there we go, there's a sign here. Morning. So Mawbury Rings, the prehistoric henge. When Mawbury Rings was excavated in 1908 to 1913, it was discovered that there was a prehistoric henge here before Roman times. It had roughly the same outline you see today, but lower banks and a deep inner ditch. Henges were built by Britain's first farmers in the Neolithic or New Stone Age. They had a circular ditch and outer bank interrupted by one or more entrances. Some had stone or timber circles. Here archaeologists found 45-inch shafts, pits dug in the bottom of the ditch, some more than 13 metres deep. Material from the ditch and pits was heaped into an outer bank. There was a single entrance in the north where there may have been a large single standing stone. 8 pits were investigated, revealing burnt material along with carved chalk, objects and human and animal bones dated to between 2000 and 2800 BC, around 4,500 years ago. There's some pictures of the excavations. And over here it explains a little bit about the name. Mawbury, Maum, of uncertain meaning but possibly Old English melm, meaning chalky soil, or main, meaning common, perhaps referring to the gatherings of people in a common place, or Celtic main, meaning stone. Bury, from the Old English bur, meaning earthwork. It also means fortified town. So, there's the origins of the name. Now let's go and have a little explore. There's also some toilets here, little portaloo toilets, in case you do need to go while you're here. Morning. There was the Roman amphitheatre when the Romans came and took over the place. When the Romans built their new town of Durnovaria, or Dorchester, in around 60 AD, rather than build an entirely new amphitheatre, they remodelled the prehistoric henge. They dug out and flattened the inside of the ring to create an arena which was floored with round chalk and sand. The arena is one of the largest in Britain, but among the smallest in the Roman Empire. The extra chalk and soil was used to raise the banks to about the height they are today. There may have been wooded seating areas built into the sides, as you can see here, and there was evidence of a wooden safety fence around the arena. Behind the safety fence was a service corridor. Again, You can see that there, following around. And they'd have had all sorts of Roman shows. And across the road, the other side of the police station, over there, is the old marketplace, which is still in use today as Dorchester's marketplace. And there's an example for you of a Roman amphitheatre there. I think that might be a little model, looking at that. Yes, so we'll move forward, move on. There's one more sign. Again, if you aren't really into listening to me reading the information, there you go, look, then do skip. Or if you want to read more, then pause. There we go. This is when it was a Civil War fort. Blimey, plenty of history. During the English Civil War, 1642 to 48, the amphitheatre earthworks were remodelled by parliamentary forces in Dorchester to defend the town against possible attack from Lord Carnarvon's royalist troops in Weymouth. A ramp at the southern end was built to move heavy guns to the top of the banks. Smaller ramps were added to the east and west sides of the interior. Ditches or trenches were dug outside of the bank and outside of the north entrance, and covered trench linked this site to another fort at Dorchester's southern gate, where the memorial is today, which we walked past earlier. The defences cost over £19,000 to build, but according to one critic, would have only lasted about half an hour. We don't know if he was right, as the fortification was never used. In 1643, the town surrendered to the royalists as soon as they appeared. There's some later history for you. Feel free to pause. Talks about some executions and things. Now let's take you to the rings. So there's two ways to go round. You can either go straight through, or if you want to go round, you can go up over the mini banks, or you can go up and over the top. Now I think we're going to go over the top today. They have kindly built these steps in, however I will warn you that when they're slightly wet they are slippy, and you really don't want to catch a shin on one of them. I've done it before and it hurts. So this is the view from the top of the rings. And it's still used today. They have youth festivals, food festivals. I believe the local Pride event is held here every year as well. I'll just walk around this side at the top, and then I'll leave you guys to it. So thank you all for joining me on today's walk, and I'll see you next time. Morning, mate.